Have you ever wondered what it's like to be in a whiskey club or maybe even a barrel club? Well, if so, stay tuned for part one of my series on joining whiskey and barrel clubs. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Booze. I am Sammy. I'm your host, and I am excited to be here. I am really looking at these dusty bottles. These are horribly dusty, sorry. Working on this bar has been a very long task. It's taken about 4 weeks to move from the old studio to the new studio, and we're still getting things up. We're still working on lighting, sound, and everything below this bar is bottles and books and papers and stuff, but we're getting there. And I will definitely show you a video of the new bar. I'm super excited to show you that and stuff. It's going to be quite different from the last bar, as you can already see. But see, I'm still picking up stuff. I would like to talk to you about wonderful opportunities for people who are into whiskey, even tequila, vodka, rum, and stuff, and that is clubs. And so this is a two-part series. We're going to do today's episode on whiskey clubs themselves, organizations, whether they're online or in person, that you can socialize and make connections with people of like-minded for your style of whiskey. And then on Thursday, we're going to do part two, where we're talking about clubs that revolve around barrel picks or select bottle issuance. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for that one as well. I'm very excited. We have reached over 1,000 subs. It took a lot longer than I really imagined it would, but I'm so happy that we are at 1,000 subs. Opened up so many doors for us, and I am super excited. So what is a whiskey club or a liquor club? A whiskey club is a kind of an informal, could be formalized with a constitution and everything, but it's a club with a group of people who like to come together, either virtually online or in person, and talk and share their favorite whiskeys. And so I am actually a member of probably a dozen whiskey clubs. I actually lead a whiskey club. We have about 400 members. Last time I checked, we had 190 official members and then about 200 unofficial members. But I'm also members of clubs that are much bigger, in the 20, 30,000 range, that span the globe. Now, my whiskey club that I lead is very localized in my area. There are some people in that membership that are in other states, and I think there's a couple in other countries. And so they don't really get to participate because most of our stuff is in person, but we do share a lot of things online. So a whiskey club is just where you can talk about bottles, talk about distribution, talk about upcoming releases, and also get together and bring your favorite bottles and what we call bottle shares, and share your favorite flavors with other people, and they bring theirs. And so we do a lot of bottle shares, and that's where we show up at each other's houses or local restaurants who are participating in this. Those are a little bit trickier. I'll talk to you about those. But we're able to come together and just socialize about whiskey and share whiskey. I think that whiskey clubs have actually been a very beneficial part of my life. I joined the whiskey movement about 5, almost 6 years ago, and really started getting into it about 3 years ago and joining clubs and being active. And I'm very active in a couple of them besides my own. And it's just so rewarding. I've met so many great friends, and we've done a lot of get-togethers, and I'm members of virtual clubs that they get together, but I can only participate virtually because they're so far away. And the connections we make are just amazing. Excuse me. And we do like to do sample shares. I'll send somebody a sample of whiskey, just a small 1-ounce sample. They'll send me some. I usually send it in groups, like I'll send them 4 or 5 samples, but just 1-ounce samples of a particular bottle. And that way it's almost like a try before you buy. Maybe I didn't want to buy this Cajun cut whiskey. And so somebody could send me a sample for me to try and say, I really like that. I'm going to go ahead and get that. That's what I like about these, because you can't buy everything. As you can tell, I've tried, but you can't buy everything. And it's also a way to try some regional stuff that doesn't have a distribution. See, is there anything regional up here? No, I don't. Everything here is something that's sold pretty much across the nation, but there are a lot of regional whiskeys. I send stuff out from my favorite distillery, Acre, all the time to promote that love for that distillery to other people. So that's what a club is, and most clubs have a Facebook presence, so you can join through Facebook. Some have other presence, whether it's just a website or whatnot. Instagram, several clubs in Instagram. It's just a great opportunity to share your love of whiskey. I'm also part of tequila and a couple rum clubs. I'm not a big rum fan, but I joined them because of the camaraderie I have with other people. Now, you got to be careful of whiskey clubs, because some whiskey clubs aren't actually a social connection sharing group. They're more of a buy trade group, in search of group. And those can be very tricky, because now you're getting into some illegal stuff. It's against the law to buy and sell liquor without a license. We're sharing 1-ounce samples, and I don't think the federal government really cares about that. But when you start buying and selling whole bottles at $100 a pop, and sometimes you're buying more or selling more, which is something that I don't participate in because of another reason I'll tell you about, you're dealing with tax evasion, and it's going to cause some problems. So if you want to do that, that is fine by you, but just be aware that some clubs do that. Almost every club I am in bans buying and selling in search of, stuff like that. I am in a couple groups where you can do in search of, like I'm in searching for this Litchfield. And somebody will tell me where it is. Or somebody will say, hey, I have it and I'll sell it to you for $100. That's where I draw the line. Because of that other part I told you about. There's a lot of trolls out there, and there's a lot of scammers. People who will post pictures. They may have the bottle, or they probably just pulled a picture somewhere from the internet, altered it a bit, and decided to try to make some money by selling it online, taking your money, and not sending you anything. And that has happened repeatedly on some of these groups that I don't participate in. Once I see that going on, and once I hear about scammers, I usually drop that group. There is a group out there that had about 15,000 people, and it ended up that the administrators of that group were scamming. They set it up as a scam to try to gain money, and people were trading back and forth. But if you traded with those administrators, you got scammed. And so I almost fell into that, but I knew enough people that tell me that, hey, you need to be careful of that specific group. So I dropped it. I don't like to buy secondhand. I truly don't. If a friend of mine that I know, and I have several of those, has a bottle, I might trade or actually give them money to get it for me or something. But I don't buy secondhand. The price isn't worth it, and the possibility of being scammed is too high. So that is one thing to look out for when joining groups, is you want to watch out that it's really about camaraderie, about connections, about the love of the whiskey, and about friendship and socialization. That is the group you want to be in. The groups that are in search of trade, buy, those are the groups you could be in, but you got to be very wary because of legality issues and also scammers. Now, the best groups to be in are those in person where you can meet face to face. You can have a whole bunch of people. This room here has been filled at least twice with a lot of people. The old bar used to be filled all the time because I would have my personal club that I started, people over, and several other clubs come over, and we do bottle shares. But you can also meet at restaurants. Now, restaurants are very kind of specific in what you can do. If they have a liquor license, you can't do bottle shares. You can't bring anything in. They will be held liable, and they're not going to do that. So what we do is we do find local businesses that we wish to support that have really good bars, and we have two really good local businesses in my area that we frequent quite a bit because they have excellent bars. They have, Stag and Buffalo. Birthday Bourbon. They have E.H. Taylor's. They have, I think one of them has a Pappy. They have stuff. One of them is pretty good rates. The other one, it has really good deals. $18 for a Stag or $16 for a Stag. Pretty good deal. Not that I'm a Stag fan. I bypass on that. But those you just have to be very careful on how you are approaching them. But we do meet them to support them business and to try to, get the local community involved with not only supporting the business, but supporting the club. The other kind of restaurant you can get is one that doesn't have a liquor license, and therefore it's a BYOB. And if they're willing to allow you to BYOB, then you can go in and you can support the business plus have a bottle share. And that is probably the trifecta perfect scenario for going to businesses. There are also cigar lounges. My problem with cigar lounges is most people aren't cigar smokers. Even most whiskey people aren't cigar smokers. That's a very small percentage of people. And so going to a cigar lounge is excellent for the cigar smokers, not so much for the non-cigar smokers, the smoke. I've gone to a couple cigar lounges to work out deals to meet at, and afterwards, I'm just like, nah, that's not for us because the smell was so bad. I have asthma. I used to be a smoker, and I just don't want to be in that environment. It's the temptation is too high to start smoking again. Plus, I feel like crap from the asthma afterwards, and so we don't do that. But join a club, virtual or in person. Search one out in your community. Ask your whiskey friends. I am surprised that I live in a town, it's probably about 30,000 people, that there are still people that don't know about our whiskey club because I advertise it, but they just don't realize. And then they find out, and that's how we grow. But ask around. There are some really great online whiskey clubs. I could probably tell you about some really good ones. I'm wearing a shirt of one. I don't really want to promote you or push you in any way towards those, but two really big ones that are headquartered here in Dallas, but they're worldwide, and they have 20+ thousand members. And then there's also a YouTube channel here in Austin, Texas, or outside of Austin, that is probably most whiskey lovers know about. But they're not really a club. They're more of a informational channel, but they do have a whiskey Facebook site that lots of people like to share and kind of socialize in. But I look for the club specific. Just can't promote it enough. I think it's a great opportunity. It's really helped. I know this sounds weird, but make my life a little bit better. It's given me an outlet. It's given me something to do in my retirement because I'm not working. I'm creating a business, but that whole day-to-day routine stuff of teaching is no longer there. So this gives me a little bit of socialization and outlet that I had lost. So I cannot encourage you enough to find a club, whiskey club, tequila club, rum, vodka, liquor club, even a coffee club or some sort of socialization club. Look for them and participate. jump into it and just have a blast. Now, in part 2 of our episode, we're going to go one step beyond the club, and that is the barrel clubs. And those are more specific, and they do tend to be more expensive. And we'll talk about that on Thursday. But we do have a little hint here on the bar. Hopefully, this will interest you. If you're not a member of a barrel club, make sure you watch that on Thursday. If you are a member, go ahead and watch it on Thursday and then leave comments about what I missed. Now, for those of you that have watched through the channel, make sure you leave in the comments, watch through this video, make sure you leave through the comments below your favorite barrel or whiskey club, not barrel club, but whiskey club. No promoting whiskey clubs, just put the name of your whiskey club. I worry about links in my videos. I am a member of a club out of Louisiana, and somebody is always posting buy-sell links. And I wish that club would ban that person. In fact, I'm going to talk to them because they're not necessarily buy-selling in a legal sense. So I think they're a scammer. And so I'm going to try to see if they'll kind of fix that, because it's irritating every time I post. No matter what I post in there, the same person posts a link for buy-sell. So, and it's not an admin. So, yeah, leave your favorite club or experience, good or bad, in the comments below so everybody can read, but no links, please. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 on Thursday. And sorry about last week. I just got overrun with some personal things, plus working on the bar. So I know that's been a constant excuse, but we will be more consistent, hopefully, always from here on out. All right, remember, there's no bad whiskey, and I have no whiskey because it is actually 8 o'clock in the morning, and I need to get this edited and out today. So I'm not having a drink right now. I'm having coffee. But remember, there's no bad whiskey. There's only good whiskey and great whiskey, and I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Cheers.